What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the adventure here at John.goes.offroad, where we're going over Tacoma's gear and everything we do to the Tacoma. So today we've got a little bit of a special episode where you guys have asked me a few times, or a little more continuously on Instagram, what rack I have and how I run it and things like that. So one of the biggest things that I've actually really liked, I've had multiple racks here in the past, and now I've resorted back to this rack just because of all the features that it has. And I kind of just wanted to go over it here with you guys and show you guys what this rack's all about. So just to kind of keep it short and sweet, we have the 12-inch RCI bed rack for a short bed, and that's how this guy looks. And there's a few features, of course, a few accessories that I have on there that I feel are perfect for me and the trips that I do and things like that. So big thing, of course, you gotta have a tent on top. Front runner is the tent that I use, and that's the tent that I'll be going over here a little bit more in detail, what I think about it and things like that here on a later episode. But I kind of want to just show you guys what rack I'm using at the moment. And two of the things that I always get asked questions on is basically why I run an axe and a shovel. So I have been stuck in mud or sometimes in little holes and stuff that you start digging when you get caught up in terrains that are basically a little bit rougher than your truck. So I'll have to dig myself out. And that shovel's been perfect to have on the side here. Also, when you have to go to the restroom out in camp, sometimes you don't always have the best situation. You got to dig a hole and then pretty much cover that up. So you use your imagination on that, but definitely very useful. So one of the things that's been pretty big in regards to how I mount these is these little quick fists. Now, they've been great, and one of the biggest reasons why I think this rack is amazing is because they have these little slotted little slots, these CNC'd slots where you can just use some bolts that you may have at home. And the best thing is that you can just basically throw them on with a little small bolt. Quick Fist doesn't make like specific types of bolts or anything like that. You can use any type of bolt and nut just to make sure that they stay in place, and you can move these around since the slot is pretty long and rectangular. So you just slide them to where you need, and that's how I've been able to mount these guys. Why the axe? The axe because sometimes I tend to forget wood or you know, campfire wood and stuff, so we'll, you know, get a few branches, start chopping them down and stuff. Sometimes you find logs that people have left behind or bigger logs that you can chop up and then also use. So that's why I felt that is very important to have. And that's just me. You don't have to have one or anything like that. This is just a Harbor Freight axe that I found, and super cheap, and does the job. So little covers on it and stuff so nobody gets hurt, and it's also mounted with some quick fists on there. So I've really enjoyed those quick fists. Very affordable as well. You don't have to go crazy and buy, you know, the type of mounting systems for the specific rack and things like that. So I have kind of sometimes been a little bothered by that, how some racks will actually only allow you to mount their accessories, which can run up, you know, a decent amount of change and hurt the pocket and stuff like that. If you can afford it and like the look and stuff, by all means. But something that sometimes I feel is a little too expensive and not really worth paying all that money for. So that's why I really like this rack in specific. So yeah, that's that. And when coming over here, I know the water port has been the most frequently asked question because not a lot of people know how I've mounted this, and it's easier than it looks. Water port sells, I'm gonna try and show you guys here as best as possible. They sell a kind of like a little mounting system or a little mounting plate per se, and it fits perfectly on the RCI, where you have those slots again. You can sneak in those bolts from that actual bracket that they sell, and then you can put nuts and bolts to that and then easily mount it up to the rack. So again, very versatile just because of all of the mounting points that it has. It's not extra. You don't have to pay extra money or anything like that to do that, and that's why I've really loved it. So water port, why? Because you gotta wash dishes sometimes. Sometimes you got dirty clothes and stuff, whatever you may need. But biggest thing was that I was using a kind of like a little 5-gallon water jug, and I used to lean it off the side, and we'd try and wash dishes, and you're kind of balancing and stuff, and it didn't really work out for me. So I didn't like it. So water port was definitely something I wanted to have. So we have a little hose. You apply a little bit of pressure through the valve that they have there, and then you've got pressurized water, so a little water hose and stuff, and we can wash our dishes and things when we go out to camp. So definitely very, very important, worth all the money for me in that aspect. So why the RotoPAX? Typically I won't really need fuel to the places where I go. They'll be fairly close or not too far away from any type of town or anything like that. So this black one holds all my recovery gear. I forgot the key, otherwise I'd unlock it and show you guys, but there's a recovery rope in there and some D-rings that I just keep inside, and they fit perfectly. A little smushed, but they fit, and I've been really excited about that. So they actually do have their mounting system, which I kind of gave into. It came up in a deal, a buddy had it, and I just had to pretty much grab it from him. And yeah, that mounts to the back to one of those slots. And again, with these slots, that is why I honestly think, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right over there on the right hand side, you see the 2 bolts that go into the actual locking mechanism for the RotoPAX, and a little kind of cubby, and that works out perfectly. So I've been really digging it, and nothing really too crazy when it comes down to doing the tent. The tent's pretty normal. You just use the brackets that they give you and little mounting positions. You can go crazy on that as well. Do you want it, you know, a little bit more to the left, more to the right? You can mount it pretty much anything you'd like, anywhere you want, and that's why I really like this RCI rack. Now, I've owned KB Voodoo. KB Voodoo was great, but the way they've kind of made their mounting system didn't really work out for me. So, yeah, that didn't really work out. And then we had Front Runner. Front Runner was great, but again, it was just a little too low for me. And I didn't really like that you couldn't lock the mechanism. Again, I got those both used, and they worked fine and things like that. So I didn't mind them or anything like that. I'm not gonna ding them, but this has definitely been the best fit for me when it comes down to getting it all situated. So one little quick thing I also wanted to show you guys here is that this guy is kind of a little floppy. So what I ended up doing was putting a little lock there so nobody ends up taking it and running away with it. So definitely very important. You definitely don't want to get it stolen or anything like that. So just put a little lock there. And another thing on the mounting system, or how it goes in, it'll just go into your tracks. You'll have this little kind of mounting plate in the back that'll pretty much tighten up and make sure that this stays secure. You have 6 of those, so that's 6 mounting places, and this thing's pretty sturdy. It'll move the whole truck, and I've really enjoyed it. So I've had it before. Again, if you followed me on Instagram, you saw me have it a different way, and I used to have some tracks on there. Currently, right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna mount the tracks actually to the bottom side of the rack. I have those bolts right here where I actually mounted the max track at a certain point, but it was kind of a little flimsy, so I'm still trying to figure that out. Might have to fabricate something here really quickly so that I can mount the max tracks to the bottom side and not have them anywhere. I also had thought that I could run it right over here on the inside, so I'm thinking about that as well. When it comes down to spare tire, because I get asked that a lot, unfortunately I just laid in the bed. There's nowhere to go with that. Possibly might be doing a swing out, but then weight is a problem, so may or may not be doing that. But I just kind of want to show you guys what this rack's all about. So again, best rack for me, not for everyone, of course. That doesn't mean you have to go buy this one and this is like the Overland's best, you know, rack and things like that. It's just something that I've preferred and I've tried between 3 brands already. And I know, you know, racks can go up even more in cost, but this is actually fairly affordable, out at $680, I believe, and then after shipping and all that crazy stuff, you got around $720. Whereas racks, you know, very similar in, you know, accessory kind of positioning and things like that, can actually run up to $1,000. So I didn't really like that price tag, so definitely RCI caught my eye when they had that. And all the other ones that are a little bit cheaper, unfortunately, you know, don't really have the same features. So it's kind of something that you'll have to take a look and see what you want to do, what works for you, and, you know, what kind of, you know, gear you want to carry when you're out there. So for me, I like packing very minimal. I don't like having too much gear, and I just pack just the right amount, if not less, unfortunately. But that's the reality. Sometimes I'm not the best packer, but it's just because I don't want to have a lot of stuff. So I'll usually have 3 boxes in the back, all stacked up, spare tire, 3 big old plano boxes that I don't have in there. If you've been on my Instagram, you've seen it on my stories. I've really loved those, but may go over those here in the future. But I'll stack those 3 boxes and then a cooler, and then I'll call it a day. Sometimes I stack the cooler actually inside so that the ice doesn't melt as fast, and since we're in the AC when we're going on trips, it'll stay a little bit cooler, but that's not always the case. And maybe upgrading here very, very soon to something a little bit more on the battery powered cooling system. So may have something like that coming in the future. But yeah, if you guys have liked this, please make sure you subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think about the RCI rack. This was a very quick video just to kind of show you guys what this guy's all about, how it looks and pretty much functions on the way I have it. So I've of course very enjoyed this setup, and I'm gonna stay here up until I find my finalized setting or setup. I really want this one specific setup, and it's very expensive, so that is probably gonna be the most expensive mod that I've done, and for the time being I'll just kind of hang out with this. So yeah, Front Runner will be basically reviewed here in a sense. I'll take a look at it and open it up for you guys, show you guys what it all looks like and how it's been reacting for me. I've had this guy for a little while. I've probably had it for around 2 years and a couple camping trips, so you'll be seeing that here very, very soon. If you see something that you want me to kind of go over, maybe a few of you guys have questions on in regards to the truck, I will definitely be listening here. Make sure to comment. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. YouTube's been kicking off, and I've been seeing that a lot, so definitely want to bring more of these guys out to you guys. A lot of stuff coming to the page, a lot of different stuff as well, not only off-road but probably some street stuff. So gonna get out to you guys here with more YouTubes, and we're gonna keep pushing these out. So thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoy your day, your week, whenever you're watching this. Take care.